Badger fans, let's sound the cannon. It's a little delayed, but we haven't had a chance to talk about the basketball commit to the Greg Gard, LaTrevion Fenderson, what I like about him, and how I think he maybe alters a little bit of what this team has. I'm excited about it. Let's talk about that next. Locked On Badgers. Let's go.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers, your team every single day, multiple times a day at some days. College football is almost here. We are so excited. We're going to be doing a show later today, really breaking down Western Michigan, the keys to the game. But I haven't had a chance to talk about basketball. LaTrevion Fenderson committing to the Badgers, 2026 kid. 25, but they expect him to reclass into the 26 class. I think it's important to talk about this one because he gives you something a lot of Badger fans have talked a lot about wanting. So LaTrevion Fenderson, 6'5" wing coming out of Racine, Wisconsin. Again, probably reclassifying. It sounds like the expectation is for him to reclassify into the 26 class, take a year of prep school. And then for him, I think makes a ton of sense because I'm going to get into his game. I got to watch a bunch of his film, watched about 60 plays of him finishing or not finishing at the rim. So I'm really excited. I was really excited to get under the hood a little bit with his game and examine a little bit of what we're potentially getting. I think he really could use that prep year, but I think there are a ton of tools here. This is the type of toolsy raw kid that I think a lot of people have said Greg Gard needs to take more swings with, right? Traditionally, Greg Gard and this Wisconsin staff, it's a lot of recruiting skill. It's a lot of recruiting shooting, developed skill, but maybe, and this isn't always true, and maybe some of this is just perception. At times it feels like they're chasing a higher floor and a lower ceiling a little bit. I think Fenderson is a type of kid who can flip that, right? I think he has a pretty high ceiling. In fact, I think he is with the athletic skills he has and some of those traits that he's flashing, I think there's a really high ceiling here potentially. This is a player with an Iowa State offer, in-state kid. Which in-state player doesn't have an Iowa State offer? They basically offer everybody in the state of Wisconsin. But this is, for those who have talked about Greg Gard, recruiting a little better in state, attacking in-state. Here is an in-state player coming off Zach Kinzinger in the 25 class as well. Another in-state player, Will Garlock, another in-state player. So a couple of in-state hits for Greg Gard as well for those who are looking for that. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about LaTrevion Fenderson, what we see on film. I want to start with a good athlete. Like this is, again, we talk about upgrading the athletic profile. Some of what AJ Storr brought into the program, right? Some of that bounce and that juice, that wing athleticism, that in the Big Ten you're matching up against really elite wing players, the types that Illinois will get, the types that Iowa can get, the Michigan State will get, right? And coming from the West Coast, the types that UCLA will get and Oregon will get. You need wing athletes. You need bigger, bouncier, well-cut athletes to play defense, to play offense on the wing in the Big Ten. LaTrevion Fenderson gives you that, right? Well cut, good build, strong, can finish above the rim, can get into the paint. Let's talk about the offensive game a little bit. I thought there was really good one-step quickness, multiple plays you're watching on film. This is a player who can beat somebody straight line. When coaches say straight line, what do we mean? They mean somebody who can just one dribble beat you straight line with quickness, with first step speed. They're not using dribble combos to set it up. Fenderson has that, right? Against some pretty good AAU competition. You're seeing him beat people straight line. And he does that several times in the film. So that's encouraging. That speaks to first step quickness. It speaks to athleticism. And then when he gets in the paint, like I said, he's a well-built 6'5". So he'll get the shoulder into somebody, finish through contact. He has all of that. What else do we like here? Really some creativity near the rim. You see a lot of different types of finishes. You see step throughs, right? Getting to the rim. You see creativity with that right hand. I'm going to speak about the left in a second. But you see a lot of creativity in transition, off cuts, off the dribble with the right hand, being able to finish at different angles. He's got a floater on the baseline. Some nice post ability. You think about Alondo Tucker was kind of this similar frame, the ability to play through the post as a big 6'5" guy, several clips of him in the post, getting to that shoulder, finishing through some contact there. So there's flashes of a 3-level scorer here. You see the ability off the dribble to get into the paint. You see the ability as a post player. The jumper shows flashes. There's some hits, there's some misses. Mechanically, I think there's some inconsistency with the footwork. You can see it at times on the catch and shoot stuff, but the release is pretty good. It's pretty high. It's a good wrist snap, good rotation, good arc on the ball. I think there's the road to being a really solid to above average shooter here. I don't know if he's ever going to be a sniper. Like I said, there's some mechanical stuff to clean up, but definitely somebody who can hit from three. And then if you can hit from three with his athletic ability, his size, his strength, his ability to get in the paint, if you can hit from three, that sets up all the other facets of your game. So I think there's a lot of that offensive 3-level scoring that is potentially there for him. I'm excited about that. He's got to get more consistent mechanically as a shooter, right? I think that'll come if he puts it'll come if he puts in the time, right? That's an aspect I have no idea. I don't know the kid, but I do know it's not a broken looking shot. It just needs some more consistency with footwork, with mechanics. Really good offensive rebound potential. You take a guy like this with his size, his frame, watching AAU film, again, it's not the perfect thing, but he attacks offensive rebounds and then he re-attacks when he gets position, scores off of that. I thought that was pretty good. The left hand has to be developed. And if you watch film on him for a while, he is just constantly fighting to get back to that right hand. He actually beats people with that left hand dribble pretty quick. He has a nice little quick left hand push dribble, gets into the paint, and then he's just constantly fighting to get back to that right hand. So he's contorting the body, right? He's doing that thing that you always see players who are right hand or left hand dominant. When they get to that opposite side, they twist the body so they can finish with a strong hand. That's got to come. But that's why, again, I think this is the type of player, if you can get an extra year, he's at 26, he goes the prep route, he can really work on those things. You can't teach the athleticism. You can't teach his ability to kind of get above the rim, to be 6'5", to be big. I think defensively, it gives you the ability to guard 1, 2s, and 3s, which is super valuable in the Big Ten. He's got those athletic traits that we look for. And now you just got to develop the other skill stuff, which quite frankly, I think this Badger staff is pretty good at. So I like the pickup. I like it. It's early, which usually bodes well for this staff. Greg Gard and his staff, I think, identify talent really well. And then you look at kind of some of what they're building. Zach Kinzinger, in-state, just a sniper. I like some of what I've seen from Will Garlock. I got to see him more this year. I'm planning to actually make one of his games to check it out. But this is the type of high upside. If you want a 30,000-foot view, back it out. Let's get strategic. This is a relatively raw but high upside athlete that can play in the wing in the Big Ten and shows flashes of being a 3-level scorer. That's the type of player you need on this roster. You probably need a couple of them, right? Will he hit the ceiling? I don't know. Definitely a player we need to watch more film on. But I like the commitment because I think it potentially raises the ceiling on the wing. All right, we're going to take a quick break, get back to your comments, and I'll let you know with some football stuff coming up too. We are going to take a quick break for our friends of the show over at 5 Hour Energy. And man, I have so many things on my to-do list right now. I am sparring with Gopher fans currently. Football's about here. I want to talk about some of the stuff we have coming up on the football side, but 5 Hour Energy is there after lunch to help get my to-do list done. No sugar, small thing. It's just a small container. Y'all know it, right? I had watermelon the other day, which tasted like watermelon. And that works for me. I love watermelon. I went on a watermelon diet once. I didn't last very long on that, but it was a couple days of just pure watermelon. So anyway, I digress. 5 Hour Energy is there for all your flavors. We have a great offer, 5hourenergy.com. Use code LOCKEDONCFB to receive 20% off your order. That's 5hourenergy.com. Use code LOCKEDONCFB to receive 20% off your order. Offer is valid through September 30th. On one order, it cannot be used with other promotions or subscriptions. That's 5hourenergy.com. LOCKEDONCFB to receive 20% off your order. Today's episode is also brought to you by our great friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel is your number one spot for all your sports betting, and college football is here. Y'all already know I bet against the Gophers. I bet against the Hawkeyes. I bet on the Badgers because I bet with my friggin' heart and not my head, but I do that over at FanDuel. If you want to do that over at FanDuel, join along. Please do it responsibly. FanDuel is a great spot for all your betting needs, and right now they have a great offer. Catch all the NFL action, NFL Sunday Ticket through your YouTube TV base plan. You get the first 3 weeks free on FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Download America's #1 sportsbook and get the first 3 weeks of NFL Sunday Ticket for free over at FanDuel.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. All right, let's keep going. Let's get comments. I'm actually kind of scared to open the comment section. I imagine everyone just wants to talk about football, but She said, Bucky says, let's go, boys. Cannon L, my boy Cannon. Let's go, Cannon. He said, yes, sir, a basketball show. Man, I love basketball. And I'm going to talk it as much as I can. I love football too, though. Cannon L said, I love this commitment more than you can think. So much potential. Yeah, like I'm telling you right now, this is the type of potential pick that people have been clamoring for. You can't like these are the pieces you get to augment the skill and the shooting that Greg Gard and his staff traditionally get, right? Because if you can fit a couple of these guys into the wing, into the guard rotation, alongside the shooting and skill that you're already having on the roster, then you start to unlock new things, right? Because these are the players, if you go back to like a Khalil Iverson, and this kid's not a Khalil Iverson athlete, I don't think. Like that guy was rarefied air. But there was just 2 or 3 plays, and he wasn't super skilled. Khalil Iverson wasn't a great player, but there was a play or two a game or a play a game where just athletically, he was so much friggin' better than everybody else. He rose up and ripped down a rebound. You need a couple of those guys. You need some of that athletic oomph. You need some of that when you're playing a video game and you hit the turbo button and your guy does something inhuman. Like that's what great athletes do on the roster. They give you an inhuman moment that can change the flow of a game. Khalil Iverson did that. Alonzo Tucker was the guy who did that at times. AJ Storr last year did that at times. This is the type of athlete who can make some plays that just this roster doesn't have. Will Hanna says, very nice addition, athletic wing. You take this type every time. Yeah, you need more of this on the roster. Now you got to balance it, right? Like I like guys like Kinzinger. I like guys who you already coming into the program, you know he's going to shoot well. But if you get the 2 of them, I think you do more of that. Bucky said he's a 0-star on 247. He hasn't been rated yet. Like, don't read into that. He's already got an Iowa State offer. He's got a Wisconsin offer, a couple other offers as well. I think Georgetown, there were a couple other schools kicking the tires on him as well. He just hasn't been rated yet. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Bo Dragon says, Bo Dragon's still salty with Greg Gard. Let's keep going here. Herb Herman said, was this just announced? This was announced a couple days ago, Herb. I'm just a little late to the jump on this one, but I definitely don't want to lose track of it. I definitely want to talk about it. All right, that's kind of what the comments I see. Greg Lincecum, good friend of the show, said, hoop it up, Ryan. Good piece to add. Yeah, this is a really good piece to add. So I like it. More film we have to watch, but I think he brings something to the roster that they don't necessarily have right now. Couple things on football. Games tomorrow. Let's go, boys. It has been so long. Let's get it. We're going to have fun. Reaction shows obviously tomorrow after the game. So I hope everybody is going to be able to make that, listen to it, watch it. A couple new things we're going to do this year. After the game, record, if you want to, record like a 30-second to maybe 1 minute reaction to your reaction to the game and send it to me. We're going to compile those and play them on a show. And it's just going to be everybody's video reaction to the game. So right after the game, record your 30-second, minute most reaction, good, bad, what you loved, what you hated, how you feeling, how great is it to have football back, your player of the game, whatever it is, send that to me. We're going to compile them. We're going to have an awesome community reaction show out of it. So please do that. I can't wait to see what you guys have for there. Obviously, we have the reaction shows as always. And then that's it. Like we made it through the off season. I appreciate the hell out of every single person that has watched the show, that has given a second of time, that's on the Discord, that's in Twitter. Will Hanna says 9-3 Western Michigan. Stop it, Will. Cannonell says Bucky 45-17. Herb Herman says, thank you for the show. Nice to hear about the basketball program. Yes, sir, Herb. He says 31-10, by the way. Bo Dragon just says football. Let's go. Cannonell talks about, I really enjoy what he offers on the defensive end, going back to Fenderson. Yeah, like he's a 6'5" guy who's really kind of yoked up, has pretty long arms, athleticism. This is the type of guy who, again, especially in modern basketball, he can guard 1 through 3. And against some teams, he can probably switch on to the 4. And because he's big enough and he's athletic enough, he's going to hold his own, because most 4s aren't bringing you down in the post and punishing you anymore. Like, these are the type of defenders that Greg Gard is stocking up on. And you look at this year's roster. Sorry. I mean, I could talk basketball all day, man. Tanji, Hunter, these are all physical guys. Amos is big and long. He can at least guard a bunch of different spots. Blackwell can guard 1 through 3. Like, this is becoming a really versatile, switchable team. This is the type of guy that does that. If he buys in, right? I don't know if he will. A lot of 6'5", a lot of athletic wings don't buy in. AJ Storr. Oh gosh, I got something stuck in my throat there. A lot of athletic wings don't buy into defense. But if he does, like, he has the requisite body type to be really good in that role. And I'm excited to see how that goes. Will Hanna says Fenderson equals Blackwell. Yeah. Will Hanna actually says 41-10 Bucky. Bo Dragon says 39-17 in a boring game against a high school team where we learn nothing. Bo's always the ray of sunshine. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up there. look for a Western Michigan preview show coming out. We're really going to dive into it, what we need to see, what Western Michigan's good at. Like, there's a few things that they're going to be able to do, I think, that I'm eager to see how Wisconsin counters it. They actually have a pretty good offensive line, good running back. They're going to lean on it. Can that Wisconsin defensive line look good against a team that they should look good against? That's going to be something to watch today or tomorrow. And then, like I said, record your reactions to the game, record your reactions to the Western Michigan game, send them to me in a video. We'll compile them, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that. Anyway, on Wisconsin, appreciate you guys so much. Football tomorrow. Let's go.